I'm going to instruct in converting a Windows 7 physical machine into a virtual machine and maintaining its product activation using OEM downgrade rights. So if I go to Start and right-click Computer and select Properties, I see that Windows is activated and its product ID contains OEM 899, meaning it's activated using OEM system locked pre-installation. So I've got a number of programs installed on this virtual machine, such as Office 2010, and I've also got an Epson Scanner installed, and it's attached via a USB. So let's just use it to scan an image, and there we go. So in the next step, we'll need to attach an external hard drive, which is larger in capacity than the amount of storage space you've used on your C drive. And then you need to go to the VMware website, sign up with an account, and download the vCenter converter. So go ahead and install this. And then select Finish to launch it. So select Convert Machine, change this drop down to this local machine, change this drop down to VMware Workstation, find your external hard drive and make a new folder there. And then select Next. Now, the next screen you'll get possibly some warnings. So I've got 8 GB of RAM, for instance, and it's saying this is likely going to be too much, particularly if your host PC does not have much more RAM than 8 GB of RAM. So I'll just take the recommendation and lower this to 2 and then begin the conversion. So the conversion is complete, and we can open it up on the external hard drive. So you can see it's relatively large in size. And now I'm going to go to my Windows 10 PC and I'm going to go to System. So you see this is an Optiplex 7050 and it's got an i5 7th generation and it's licensed for Windows 7 Pro. So we can install a program called ReadWriteEverything, and we can use this to check if we've got a system license internal code of 2.1. And if we do, we can use this to activate Windows 7 in the virtual machine. Now, only systems with a Windows 8.1 Pro OEM license or a Windows 10 Pro OEM license should have a slick version of 2.1. Systems with Windows 8.1 Home or Windows 10 Home should not have this slick, and therefore Windows will not activate using this activation mechanism because these systems are not eligible for downgrade rights. Systems with a retail Windows 10 Pro or a retail Windows 8.1 Pro are also not eligible for downgrade rights. So if you got Windows 10 Pro and you have no slick 2.1, you will not be able to activate using this mechanism. Right, so it's always better to leave an unaltered copy of your VM on your external hard drive and copy it directly to your internal solid state drive for use. So in order to activate using OEM system locked pre-installation or to maintain this activation, we need to modify the virtual machine configuration file. So we need to copy and paste these 3 lines at the bottom. And then it's just a case of saving the file. So I'm using Notepad++ to modify the file. However, you could modify it in Notepad. It's a bit easier in Notepad++, and Notepad++ is free, so I'd recommend just using Notepad++. Okay, so now we can right click the virtual machine configuration file and select open with VMware player. And if it's the first virtual machine you've installed or launched, you'll be instructed to download VMware tools. So go ahead and download these and then accept the user control prompt to install them. So log in your virtual machine as normal and it'll try and install some drivers in the background. In order to install all the system drivers, we need to install VMware tools. And to install VMware tools, we need a virtual CDDVD drive. And I don't have that in my machine, so I need to go and add new hardware. So if I add a new CDDVD drive, and if I just select OK, I'll get a warning asking me if I want to connect to the virtual drive that doesn't exist on the host every single time, and I'll just select no. And now I can go to player and then manage and then install the VMware tools. So this will show up as a CD/DVD drive in the guest PC. And if it doesn't auto run, then you just go and open it up and launch the setup 64 for 64-bit Windows 7 and just setup for 32-bit Windows 7. So just follow the on-screen instructions and then select finish. Okay, select yes to restart the Windows 7 virtual machine. And you'll see the virtual machine's virtual BIOS, starting Windows, and then you'll be taken onto your login screen. Now once VMware tools are installed, you can resize the virtual machine. If we right click computer and select properties, we see it's activated using OEM 899 and it's still activated. So if we copy ReadWriteEverything over to the virtual machine and go to access a CPI Tables and then select the system license terminal code, we can see that this 2.1 has passed through from the host PC to the virtual machine, and as a consequence, product activation is maintained. Okay, so next what we can do is plug a USB device into the host PC and then we can connect it to the virtual machine. So the driver will be present in the Windows 7 virtual machine because the scanner's been installed before. But it may take some time to recognize it because it'll be listed as a new USB device. So give it a couple of minutes and then you can launch the software for your device. So this is the Epson Scan in this case. And we can go ahead and scan in another image. And of course, once we have this image, we can go ahead and copy it to the host PC using drag and drop. Now, unfortunately, with my Windows 10 Pro Insider preview, on the fast track, when I use drag and drop, I tend to get a green screen of death on the host PC. So I will not copy the files over to my host PC because I'll get this green screen of death. If you're using a mainstream build, then you should be fine, and either Microsoft or VMware will likely fix this issue once Windows 10 version 1903 is released to the mainstream.